Episode 14. Almost a true martial artist. The effect of the blood plant is so good, Bobby thought to himself, as he felt incredible. He first thought, even with the help of the 200-year-old blood plant, it would still take him at least 2 days to break through. If everyone had the same effect, then the martial artist at the 5th rank or higher would be worth nothing. Soon, he figured out the reasons. First, he had never taken any herbs before. Therefore, he could absorb the herb to a high degree. Secondly, the air-pushing breathing technique had reached a high level, which made Bobby's strength reach the 4th rank, even while he was still at the 3rd rank. Thirdly, Bobby felt that his body was slowly changing after merging with his left eye. Bobby calmed down as soon as he realized that many others in the town's history had already reached the 4th rank at his age. He could only be considered talented, not a genius. Take Sarah, for example. She had reached the peak of the 3rd rank 2 months ago, and had already almost learned to master her inner strength, which meant that she had the strength of a quasi-martial artist. I'm probably at the same level as Sarah and Peter. However, I do not have confidence in winning against them, Bobby thought to himself, realizing that both of them had been training themselves to a high level. For the next 2 days, Bobby consolidated his strength while he was training in the air-pushing breathing technique. He realized that there was a low humming sound. Bobby empowered his left eye and discovered that there was a faint green and red glow forming between his blood and skin. Air-pushing breathing technique is nearing the peak at the 3rd level. My strength is not any weaker than Peter and Sarah, both of whom have quasi-martial artist strength. Once air-pushing breathing technique reached the peak of the 3rd level, Bobby would have the chance at understanding Chi. Most people had to be half-step martial artists to reach this level. Even most peak 4th rankers could not do this. After he consolidated his foundation, Bobby left the inn and headed towards the training facility. As for the other 2 blood plants, he did not plan to use them anytime soon. As soon as Bobby left the inn, a beggar wearing torn clothes turned and ran away from him. The beggar ran, reached a restaurant, and reported to a boy dressed in silver. Master Jonathan, he has left the inn. Okay, here you go. As promised, 2 silver fragments, the boy said, with a cold smile appearing on his face. As Bobby turned into an alleyway, he heard footsteps thundering closer from behind him. 2 of the 3 shadows flipped over the wall and pursued him from behind. Who's there? Bobby said, as he immediately turned around. Kid, leave us 10,000 silver, and we'll let you go. One of the 3 young boys behind him shouted and said. The one that spoke was the boy dressed in silver. Bobby immediately recognized him. The 3 students in front of him had all reached the 3rd rank, and Jonathan had reached the peak of it. 10,000 silver? Just you 3? Bobby said indifferently as he stood straight. He had spent nearly 10,000 silver at the market and still had 10,000 left. These people obviously planned to take it all for themselves. Kid, I'm warning you. Do not be too arrogant. I was injured the last time. That's why you won. Today, we're going to have payback for the losses we had back at the forest. That day you took 60% of the tiger's worth? Well, one person from our team died. One of them said, with greed in his eyes. Stop speaking such nonsense. We'll take him down quickly, before he can call anyone for help. The boy on the left said, as he moved towards Bobby. Immediately, the 2 others followed suit and made their move on him. A bunch of trash. Bobby laughed as he jumped 7 meters off the ground and landed on top of the wall of a mansion. He had easily dodged the 3 frenzied attacks. Don't let him run away, Jonathan roared and was the first to leap towards Bobby. Run? Bobby shouted as he looked mockingly at Jonathan, while he immediately used the air-pushing breathing technique and lightly floating fairy. leaving behind an afterimage in the air. Not good. Jonathan felt an unbearable pressure coming from his side. He, in midair, barely managed to block one punch. Although he blocked it, the force still made him smash into a stone wall and cough out blood. This kid's strength has probably reached quasi-4th rank. I cannot even take one of his hits, Jonathan said, as he felt his eyes go black, and immediately warned his peers to watch out. However, before he finished warning them, there was a scream coming from his left. Ah! Another boy had his bones broken. Run! The last boy was scared out of his wits and tried to run. However, before he could escape, a whistling sound came from behind. He felt his eyes turn black before he could even see the attack. In terms of speed, Bobby had learned a high-rank martial arts skill, and when used, could be compared to martial artists at the 4th rank. I will let you off the hook this time, but if you ever anger me again, Bobby said, as he looked coldly at all of them, and then, like a bird, floated away. What incredible strength and speed, the boy next to Jonathan said in a daze. Bobby has just reached the 3rd rank, and already has the strength of a quasi-martial artist, Jonathan said, gripping his hand that was in pain. After finishing off Jonathan and company, Bobby returned to the training facility. A few disciples that were familiar with Bobby were surprised by his power level. When did Bobby reach the 3rd rank of the martial path? They all knew that Bobby's strength was only at the 2nd rank 20 days ago. I heard that Bobby and some of Jonathan's friends killed a golden-headed tiger yesterday, and he stole over half of the spoils, one well-informed student said. One deadly beast is worth 20 to 30,000 silver. This kid definitely bought some super expensive herb that increased his strength and skills. What is so amazing about using outer help to increase one's strength? Those people usually have lower strength. These students were all either envious or disdainful. Bobby never thought that the information would reach everyone so fast. Not bothering with these people, he walked on and soon arrived at his home. He first saw his mother sewing clothes. Father, Mother, here's 1,000 silver. Bobby walked inside the room and took out a stack of silver notes. 1,000 silver? His mother said, as she stared and picked up the notes. How did you get so much money? His father asked in surprise. When he saw that his son's strength had reached the aura of a 4th ranker, a strange glimmer passed through his eyes. Bobby then told him a simplistic story of what had happened in the Skycloud Forest. After listening to the story, both his parents had a tinge of disbelief in addition to their excitement. After all, Bobby did not perform so superbly in the past. However, being parents, they obviously wanted their children to be successful. Bobby sat cross-legged in his room and surveyed the chamber. There is still 1 month until the family sparring contest. If I can become a green belt holder, my parents' status and treatment should become a bit higher. Closing his eyes, Bobby's consciousness entered the pitch-black dimension inside his left eye. The faint green ring had extended to 3 feet. When he was at a 2nd rank, the green ring's length was 1 foot, and it was 2 feet when his skills reached the 2nd rank. Now, it was 3 feet as he reached the 3rd rank, almost reaching up to 4 feet. As the green ring grew, Bobby found that the power in his left eye increased with it. He could see every item in detail at a range of 15 kilometers. His mind's energy and reaction speed had also significantly increased. Bobby started to decipher the lightly floating fairy once more. Soon, there was less and less of the technique left undeciphered. 1/3 left, 1/4 left, 1/5 left. Night came, and just as Bobby was exhausted, the last bit of lightly floating fairy was deciphered. At this moment, Bobby held his breath as he viewed its contents, which made his exhaustion get replaced by ecstasy.